What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. I got one more live mock in me. I'm going to be headed away for the weekend, but I want to do one more live stream for you guys, get you everything you need before your redraft starts this coming weekend. Let's hop right into a screen share. We got the ESPN full PPR mock draft starting here in about 45 seconds. I have pick number 8 in this one. This one was the last request that I'll be able to do. I'm going to be gone for the weekend, but my guy Randy in the Discord here, if you guys want to join the Discord, there is a link in the description. But join the Discord. That's where all your questions are going to get answered, and it's completely free for everything. So, Justin, hope you're doing well, my man. We got pick number 8 for our guy Randy, and basically, I just want to get as much final information out as I can. We did have some interesting news today. I was looking at some Dan Graziano blurb saying, "Don't be surprised if Jalen Warren is the Steelers' lead running back by the end of the season." So, interesting. I personally think he's got a little bit more juice than Najee Harris. We'll see if he can kind of be the Tony Pollard over there. And then the other take here was Graziano says the 49ers will take Christian McCaffrey off the field more than the Panthers did, which is strange. We also had some weird Jeff Wilson put on IR today, which kind of blindsided us. So I'm curious to see where Raheem Mostert goes in this. Warren's the guy everybody wants on their bench in the draft. So I think if you want him, we'll figure that out because we're going to try and get him here with this ADP. So I'll let you guys know where you have to take him, but we're going to see what we can do. And sending Bijan over CMC. I still like Austin Eckler in a full PPR format. I still like CMC, but I mean, I'm taking JJ and Chase if I can get those two guys. Other than that, like I still think CMC is going to be super efficient with those touches. I wouldn't be too concerned about his overall usage. But JJ, CMC, Chase, Tyreek, Eckler, Kelsey, Bijan. This is worst case scenario for pick number 8. We're looking at Kupp, Barkley, Derrick Henry. I do like Tony Pollard. Our guy Randy was hoping to get – he wants one of these receivers, Lamb, Wilson, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, or Diggs. We're going to see if they come back to us at the end of the second round. I'm going to go with Saquon Barkley. I'm pretty excited about the New York Giants offense. I think just with adding Darren Waller – they got a little bit better at wide receiver this year. Just another year with Brian Dable should be good for the Giants. So the keeper league we're doing, like they do this. They use this website called Clicky Draft, and we're gonna be firing that up tomorrow night. We got our keepers locked in: Josh Allen, Olave, Higgins, and Mark Andrews. So it's a standard league. We'll see what we can do. But I think the move this year is to make sure you grab one of the top 6 or 7 running backs. I think you can include Josh Jacobs in that top 6. But again, there's CMC, Eckler, Bijan, Saquon, Chubb, and who am I missing there? I'm missing somebody there. I can't think off the top of my head. Tony Pollard is probably who I'm missing. But for Randy here, he wants one of these top-end receivers, and you're going to get a guy to fall to you. Amon-Ra St. Brown is the dude for me in full PPR, and I'm kind of avoiding running backs in this range. It sets me up to get a running back with the 8th overall pick, and I can come back and I can grab St. Brown or A.J. Brown. One of the Browns, I think, can hold the fort down. One of these guys can hold the fort down. I actually have Amon-Ra St. Brown right next to Stephon Diggs in my projections. I think in a full PPR format, I absolutely love Amon-Ra St. Brown. We love the Lions passing game. And to be honest with you, Waddle's a consolation prize too. But I think personally, if Randy waits for his wide receiver 1, he's getting Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra, or A.J. Brown to fall. One of those guys should be there for you. And they can, these guys are really safe. Top 10 wide receivers. I think for the most part, they all have chances to be a top 5 wide receiver if things break right with touchdowns and whatnot and staying healthy, of course. But we're off to a good start so far. We got Saquon Barkley and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm going to go to the pick history here. Second round picks look like CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, Nick Chubb, Garrett Wilson. We grabbed Amon-Ra. There goes Josh Jacobs, 18th overall. Not a bad spot for him. A.J. Brown followed by Devonta Smith. Mahomes is the first QB off the board. And I don't know, man. That's a tough one because I'm starting to think that DK Metcalf might be my pick over Chris Olave. I expect them both to throw the ball a little bit about the same, but the Saints have such an easy schedule, man. And I don't know if Olave is going to lead that team in touchdowns, where I think DK is probably the guy that leads that team in touchdowns this year. So I think it's kind of a toss-up. I mean, DK had 141 targets last year, 91 receptions. Like, he can command a huge target share. And if they're going to, bring JSN slowly, the first 3, 4, 5 games, you could see DK Metcalf just continue to be pummeled with targets. And I think this year we might finally see the difference between DK and Lockett become a little bit greater. So I love DK Metcalf. They have one of the top 10 easiest schedules this year. And yeah, the Michael Thomas thing, if we're not buying Michael Thomas, I don't get me wrong, I love Chris Olave, but DK Metcalf is just one of those profiles I really, really want on my team because I think he's going to be a 8, 9, 10 touchdown type player. So he's going to catch you a touchdown every other week. Dude's going to get 7, 8 targets per game. And I think we're excited about that Seahawks offense. And also, like, their schedule, man, like he's going to eat against Arizona. He's going to eat against the Rams. I know the 49ers have a tougher schedule, or a tougher defense, but I still think DK is a priority for me. Sometimes he slips to the third round. And I'll be honest, guys, I don't like taking running back in the third round. I like continuing these wide receiver pools. I have 2 picks in front of me, like Olave, T. Higgins, Keenan Allen. These guys are great third-round picks. Honestly, if I can get Calvin Ridley, I would totally do that. I would have considered Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts here, but we don't get these guys. To be honest with you, Dameon Pierce is my favorite running back to take. He cost a third-round pick, which seems high. I used to like getting him in the 4th round, so I might pass on Dameon Pierce. I'm going to go ahead and get the Calvin Ridley on the squad. So I think for me, we're buying these RB2s basically when I still think there's wide receiver 1s on the board. Whether it's I'm taking Olave, Higgins, Waddle, Keenan, Ridley. I'm taking these guys over Jahmyr Gibbs because I think Gibbs profiles as a really nice running back too. That's probably going to get 14 to 15 points per game. So for me, I like Jahmyr Gibbs, but I think he's being drafted a little bit too high. I also like his counterpart in that backfield a little bit better, and he goes a lot cheaper. So that's kind of what I'm playing for here. I still think these guys are RB2s, man. And an RB2 profiles as about 13 to 15 points per game. I mean, is it going to surprise you if Calvin Ridley is wide receiver 5 by the end of the year and just blows up? I'm looking for those high upside receivers. Personally, I'm not in on Amari Cooper. I think there's a lot of murmurs about being nervous with the Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns offense. So personally, I do not take Amari Cooper. I don't know where he went. Is he still on the board? Amari Cooper already went. I don't click on Amari Cooper very often. But Debo, Lamar, Deontay Johnson's one of my favorite wide receivers to grab, and I think in a full PPR, this is probably where I have to do it. So I'm gonna grab Deontay, and now we got a ton of receivers here. We got Amon-Ra, we got Calvin Ridley, we got Deontay Johnson. I'd like to get a couple more of those guys on the bench that we can pull up as wide receivers 4 or 5. And now we're gonna kind of piece together running back 2. I'll pull a quarterback at some point. I think you really want to be looking for elite offenses. Like Lamar Jackson's falling. I could have done him, but honestly, I'm looking for the Burrows, the Herberts, or the Fields. I think this is the tier you really, really want. I'm avoiding Watson. I think really, honestly, like Justin, like when you ask about Cooper, it's like I want the best player on the Browns, and that's Nick Chubb. So if I'm going to take the best player on an offense, that's kind of how I'm doing it, and that's what I've done so far. I took Saquon Barkley, best player on the Giants. I took Amon-Ra St. Brown, best player on the Lions. I believe Calvin Ridley to be the best player on the Jags this year. And then I think Deontay is going to be the best player on the Steelers this year. So that's just part of my thinking here is I want the best player on that team. So like Dameon Pierce sticks out as the Texans' best player. Mike Williams did go round 4.9. That would have been a good snag there. But ideally, I'm looking at a quarterback round 5 here, Burrow, Herbert, or Fields. I want one of these elite guys. If not, I can piece together 2 QBs and call it good. TJ Hawkinson got paid today, which was huge. But honestly, like Darren Waller is one of those elite tight ends. I do have Saquon Barkley, but I don't know if that bothers me as much. If I can't get Waller, I love getting Dallas Goedert. So we'll consider those guys for sure. But these quarterbacks are kind of falling to us. We missed on Justin Fields and Joe Burrow, but if this board's going to give me my guy Herbert, I think you want one of those. I think you really, really, really want one of those Charger pieces this year. So I'm kind of liking it. Should I go 4th TE and 5th QB then? I think if you're playing in a 12-man league, I don't see a tight end value in the 4th round. I think you got to continue taking a running back or wide receiver there. Personally, I'm looking for the 5th and 6th round pulls at the QB and probably the tight end position. But if you need to grab Darren Waller in the 4th because you're a New York Giants league, like you got to do what you got to do. Just looking at the ADPs here, the best players on the board to me are Herbert and Darren Waller. I don't think Waller's going to fall back to me, and I already got Saquon Barkley, so I'm going to kind of put my eggs in different baskets here. Let's grab Justin Herbert to be our QB1. Again, he's arguably the best player on the Chargers. He's the guy that kind of holds it all together for all these fantasy players that we like. So I really like collecting Herbert here at round 5, pick 8. And then we'll see what comes back to me. Let's look at other 5th round picks here. Breece Hall is a nice stash. You can get your quarterback here. Fields, Burrow, Herbert. That's such a great tier to look for your QB1. And honestly, like I personally don't like taking my tight end before my QB. Like the tight end is kind of whatever. You want to make sure you get one of these stud QBs. Breece Hall, Justin Fields, Joe Burrow, Drake London, Madison, Alvin Kamara kind of high here. There goes Hawkinson, Herbert, Sanders, Connor, Evans, and James Cook in the 5th round. 6th round, we did miss the tight end run. Akers, Waller, Kittle, Pitts. So if I want a good one, I have to take Dallas Goedert here. I don't hate it, but I'm going to make sure I secure – I got to give you guys my favorite player to draft this year is David Montgomery. Draft him in a full PPR league. I like Jahmyr Gibbs a ton. I have him in my Dynasty League, in my full PPR Dynasty League. Round 3 is a little bit pricey for me to pay for a running back 2 profile when I can get David Montgomery, who profiles very similar to me as a really solid RB2 that can get me 12 to 14 points. I feel good about that. So we lock ourselves into Montgomery and St. Brown. That doesn't bother me all that much that I'm attached to the Lions, but I am bullish about the Lions. Either way, if the Lions score a touchdown, we got a 60% chance of getting it. So should I get both? I think you can play it that way, and I've done that in my best ball drafts, Justin, where I collect Gibbs in the 1st or the 3rd, and then I come back and I get Montgomery in the 6th and sometimes 7th round. I don't hate it, and it kind of covers your bases because there's going to be games where it's a Montgomery game. Like in games where the Lions are projected to win, I'm going to assume Montgomery's got a really good chance for a touchdown. In games where the Lions are projected to lose, they're going to have to throw more. That means Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown are probably the guys in that game here. So I honestly don't hate the duo. Like week 1 against the Chiefs, man, like both those guys should score touchdowns. Like they're going to use a lot of running backs in their offense. So I like it. We missed on my guy, Dallas Goedert, one of my favorite tight ends. So I think we're going to run it down empty there. Now is the time to get my favorite, your 2nd-year wide receiver, whether it's George Pickens, but I already got Deontay Johnson. So I'm going to lean with Jahan Dotson. That's the 2nd-year receiver breakout you guys need to be targeting here. Yeah, round 7 value, especially in your 10-man league, man, that's where I'm pushing up David Montgomery, and he can be your RB2. That's why I wait for running back 2, because I think I can grab some really good ones. And in full PPR leagues, like I really like Antonio Gibson. And I already grabbed Dotson. I don't hate, attaching myself to all these guys here. Now, there's some fun wide receivers here. JSN's worth a stash. Sky Moore for sure is worth a stash. I think I can piece together running back 3 and 4. The best player on the board is probably Jordan Addison. I think he's the rookie wide receiver that I really, really want this year. So I'm going to grab him. I like Zay Flowers, but Zay Flowers is attached to Lamar Jackson. I trust the Vikings to figure out what they're going to do with Jordan Addison. And honestly, like Adam Thielen was a smash wide receiver 2-3 behind JJ for the last few seasons. Jordan Addison's really good. He might be the guy. Well, I'm going fishing here, Justin, because I think we might be able to get one of these running backs to come back to us. I'm not sure. And if we don't, like there's still a bunch of running backs that I like. I think I'm leaving Barkley and Montgomery in my lineups the entire time. Whereas now I've opened myself up for flex competition at my receivers. And if I'm being honest, like I want the most depth at the receiver position in a full PPR league. So I got 5 really good ones. And Addison, to me, is a guy that I like putting on my bench. He's one of those, like, I'd rather have Addison than Zay Flowers, I think, for a rookie receiver this season. So I've clearly missed the boat on tight end, but have no fear. We will find you guys the tight ends. I'm okay with going into the draft having tight end be my weakness. Tight end is the least valuable position in fantasy football. Yes, if you get Andrews or Kelsey or Waller, you got a good one. Like you got a really good one. But the rest of my team, I feel pretty good about the positional value that we've acquired. Now, the running backs are beat up. Jamal Williams, like Raheem Mostert's way too low, but this is where we're gonna grab Jaylen Warren here, guys. It's round 9. I want to be early on Jaylen Warren. I'm gonna collect him and just put him on my bench and see what happens. And then I think we're going to double tap running back here. And I want to be early on these guys in my redraft leagues, because if you get them at ADP in your league draft and you're looking around at everybody else and they're like, oh, he's still on the board, well, you're probably not going to get him. So we're going to grab Raheem Mostert here. So we just collected, we got to get a Cowboys guy. I'm getting a Cowboys guy, Justin, at the end. You know who it is. But we were able to fill up our bench running back with Jaylen Warren and Raheem Mostert. I got two potential guys that I feel good about pulling up at the RB2 spot. I still have running back sleepers left to go here, but I'm feeling good about my depth right now. I got 4 running backs, 5 receivers. There's going to be receivers that I like still, whether it's Nico Collins. I don't hate Elijah Moore, but I'm kind of souring on the Browns offense. I think you want to start targeting some rookie wide receivers at the end of your draft. And there's 2 of them that we're going to make sure that we get in this draft today. Yeah, you can just don't be afraid to take advantage of the ADP on ESPN, man. Who is the backfield now? I think it's Devon Achane, but he's coming back from a shoulder thing right now, and he's not cleared for contact yet in practice. So I'm slightly concerned that he's not the guy week 1. Honestly, Justin, I think they're going to sign Leonard Fournette or Kareem Hunt. Like that, it makes a ton of sense to do that, because what they were saying about what they said today about Jeff Wilson did not sound good, at all. But with this pick, guys, I have 1, 2, 3 bench spots left. I'm going to continue filling these high, scroll down, find Marvin Mims, take him in round 11 or round 12. He is the number 2 receiver. The word on Jerry Jeudy is not good. Jerry Jeudy probably should have went on the PUP list or the IR list. I don't know if he's going to play the first few games. I'm taking a shot on the rookie Marvin Mims. And then we got to get a Packer here. Another rookie wide receiver is Jaden Reed. I did see that Romeo Doubs pulled up with a hamstring injury in practice the other day. So I think Jaden Reed, and man, we're stacked at receiver. We got some young pups. We got some young pups here on the bench, Justin. We got Dotson, Addison, Mims, and Jaden Reed. Oh, we got some rookie stash plays here at receiver. I probably want one more running back on the bench. And then I'm looking for running backs here. I love Kenneth Gainwell. I think Evan Hall, if you're going to grab one of the Colts back, Evan Hall would be the one that I would want to stash. And then I really like Tank Bigsby, Tajay Spears. So honestly, man, just fill your bench up with rookies, because by week 8, we're not even going to have you're going to be lucky to have 10 of the guys on your team. I could grab Devon Achane here, but I'm going to grab Evan Hall and finish my bench with some high upside rookies. I ended up drafting 4 rookies on this team: Evan Hall, Jaden Reed, Marvin Mims, and Jordan Addison. If you can get as many of those guys as you can, I think you're going to be in good shape. I'm going to fill in my tight end spot here. If you guys watch my stuff, you guys know my starting tight end is Jake Ferguson this year for the Dallas Cowboys. So we got our Cowboy, Justin. It's Jake Ferguson, guys. He's tight end 12 in my rankings. He's going to be good. He's going to be good. He's not going to come off the field. He's a pass blocking and a really good run blocking tight end. And he's in the Dalton Schultz role. I actually think the Cowboys are going to throw the ball quite a bit. Good evening to Aiden. Good afternoon, my man. We're just doing the final mock draft of the season here. We're almost done with it, but I'm going to hang out with you guys and we're just going to talk some football here. Get you guys prepped for your draft. I'm notorious for going 0 tight end. I don't value tight ends at all. Defense, if you guys are drafting defenses, I mean, the Eagles stick out as one of the best defenses that you can get this late. If you want one for week 1, it's the Ravens or the Commanders. They have the softest matchups. The defense that I'm drafting in every draft has been the New Orleans Saints. Every draft, you should be taking Jake Ferguson, man. Dalton Schultz has been a top 10, top 12 tight end for 3 straight years in that offense. They rely heavily on the position. In week 1 of the preseason, Ferguson went 3 for 35, and he had a really nice seam catch. And then after that, he was done. He didn't play again the rest of the preseason. He was treated as a starter. I'm looking for 8 points at the tight end position, because I can always find a guy on the waiver wire. There's always going to be a tight end that comes out of nowhere, and you're good. So for me, I don't get me wrong, I love trying to get Darren Waller. If I can't get Darren Waller, though, I'm trying to get Dallas Goedert. And if I can't get Goddard, I'm looking for Big Pat Frymouth. But I got Calvin Ridley, man. So we'll review this team. I think this team's going to be pretty fun and smoking. And essentially, like, I don't want to draft guys that are old. We ended up getting Saquon Barkley and Amon-Ra to start, Calvin Ridley, Deontay Johnson, Justin Herbert, and David Montgomery. That's our core. And then look at our flex competition all year long. I mean, I'm starting Deontay in the flex, but behind him, we're going to get competition from Jahan Dotson and Jordan Addison. I got Jalen Warren and Raheem Mostert in my back pocket just in case I need them for running back 2 duties or a flex spot start. And then I went heavy rookies here with Marvin Mims, who you need to be aggressive on. Make sure he's on your bench. He's going to be the wide receiver 2, week 1. And Sean Payton had one high draft pick this year, and he used it on Marvin Mims, who to me, he reminds me a lot of discount Brandon Cooks. I think he's going to be really good for the Broncos. So don't draft Cortland Sutton. Don't draft Jerry Jeudy. Get Marvin Mims cheap, round 12. And then I came back with Jaden Reed because I believe Romeo Doubs has a hamstring thing right now. I want Jaden Reed on my team because I think he's better than Romeo Doubs. He might be a dark horse to lead the team in receptions this year. He's really good, and he's in the slot. So he's the clear number 3 on the depth chart. I took a chance on Evan Hall. He gets a 4-week trial here. I think he profiles better as the all-down back compared to Deion Jackson, who's, to me, he's just the receiving back. I think Evan Hall is a good receiving back as well, and he can be the 3rd down back. And then I'm going empty at tight end, guys. Like, I'm going for Jake Ferguson. If Ferguson doesn't work, there's going to be tight ends on the waiver wire that I can find a spot. And I'm just looking for 8 PPR points per game. And then Eagles D, Riley Patterson, whatever. Yeah, go get Mike Williams, my man. Never was a Johnson guy. I don't know why. Deontay is RB, 3 straight RBs. And I like A-Chain, but to me, A-Chain's not an every down back. He's a really nice number 2 back that's going to complement the starter back. But be wary, guys. I think the Dolphins, man, like, they're thinking Super Bowl. I think they're going to go sign Leonard Fournette or Kareem Hunt. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring in a veteran running back. Can't rule them out from trading a running back either. I think I'd rather have Raheem Mostert than Devon A-Chain. 4 straight wide receivers. Mims round 12. Round 12 for Mims. And yeah, like Luke Musgrave and Jaden Reed are fantastic picks. I don't even know if I don't even think Luke Musgrave went drafted in this draft. So I know there's going to be really good tight ends on the waiver wire for you guys. And I just want to show you, like, in my projections, let me get my projections document going up here. The positional value of tight end is absolute garbage. So I made a heat map cheat sheet here that just kind of shows you how many points the positions get. It might be kind of hard to read here. I'm trying to zoom in the best that I can, but I have their points per game average in here. So quarterbacks are like, again, like if you want to wait for Dak Prescott and Anthony Richardson, you can totally do that. You're going to get 18 to 20 points from these guys per game. Now, the running back 2s all get between 13 and 14 fantasy points per game. Your elite, like fringe wide receiver 1s are in the 15 to 17 point range. So to me, I'm hitting wide receivers rounds 2, 3, and sometimes 4. I want as many of those, fringe wide receiver 1s, steady wide receiver 2s that I can. But look at the tight end drop off here. Let's go over and look at this. The tight end drop off over here, obviously Kelsey, Mark Andrews, these guys, I have them at 17 and 14 points per game. But after that, you're spending a 5th round pick on Waller, Goddard, and Hawkinson, where those other 5th round players are averaging 14, 15 points per game. To me, I'm going to wait for this big old drop off of 10 to 8 points. I have these guys right here. This list of Ingram, Higbee, even Njoku, Ferguson, Kincaid, Everett, Musgrave, Okonkwo. You can get 8 to 10 points from your tight end, and you can be fine. You can play matchups. Eventually, we're going to know which teams can't cover the tight end. So I have a tough time spending a 4th, 5th round pick on a tight end right now, and I know I can just get a guy off the waiver wire and get my 8 freaking points, My favorite draft start is going Barkley, Chubb, Smith, Ridley, Terry, Ayuk, or start like that. I agree. If you can find a way to get – I think we're all on the same page here. You need one of the elite running backs, whether it's CMC, Eckler. I'm not afraid to take Bijan over those guys. If you guys have a good feeling about Bijan, take Bijan because we know he's got fresh legs. He's young. The Falcons are going to run the ball so much this year. They're going to give him as many carries as he can handle. But you want Eckler, CMC, Bijan, Saquon, Pollard, or Chubb. And I think Jacobs is close there. You want one of those guys. If you can get two, take two. And I think so too. I mean, I ended up with Darren Waller as my tight end 3, but I have Dallas Goedert really close behind him, man. I'd have to stretch my numbers a little bit. So I don't hate the Waller, Goddard, Hawkinson tier. Pitts is still a myth, man. We don't know if he can put it together. Otherwise, I don't hate the Freiermuth and Njoku tier because they go kind of late and get a top 10 tight end. Chig is nothing more than he's like the ultimate sleeper. Like if you want to grab Jake Ferguson and Chig Okonkwo, see what happens. We might be cutting Okonkwo after a week or two, but I'm fine with playing like every year, guys. There's a waiver wire tight end that comes out of nowhere and he ends up being a top 5, top 10 tight end. I think that guy's Jake Ferguson this year, if I'm being honest with you. And I do think that as long as Luke Musgrave is healthy, dude's going to be on the field a ton. He was getting a lot of targets and a lot of manufactured targets in the Packers offense this preseason. Like I'm legit not afraid to go into my league this year with Jake Ferguson and Luke Musgrave as my tight ends because these guys are young upside players. I'm just looking for 8 to 10 tight end points. But obviously, like if you can get the Kelce's, the Andrews, the Wallers, you do have a big advantage over that tight end spot. But for me, I'm looking at this season as a long, long journey where I'm trying to load up wide receivers, running backs. I want to be super deep at wide receiver position in a full PPR league. I want at least 2 receivers on my bench that, hamstrings, injuries, everything can pop up and just kind of derail a guy for a season. So I'm kind of not drafting injured players right now. I think McLaurin's a good player. I'm nervous about it. Barkley's in a contract season. J.K. Dobbins is in a contract season. JT's in a contract season. Like look into some of that stuff. I did put out a video about that a long time ago, but I think Bijan is more talented than Barkley, but Falcon's still going to give Algier. I don't know if Patterson's healthy yet week 1. I don't think he's been practicing, so we have to see about that. But yeah, so like Aiden, the way I'm viewing the Falcons offense is like think about Tyler Algier as like a discount AJ Dillon. Algier's going to get 8 to 10 carries per game. He might get a target, something like that. He could fall into the end zone if things are going well for Atlanta. I think Algier profiles really nicely as a guy you just want on your bench. I don't expect Bijan to get hurt. I think he's got one of the lowest injury odds of the year. I want to show you guys a link. Draft Sharks injury odds. I'm going to pull this up here for you guys. You guys should look up injury odds because it's a thing. So I'll share this with you guys. This is on Draft Sharks. And I believe Our Lads has one too, but you can filter by position. You can see the injury risk here. You can see how many projected games they're supposed to miss this season. The lowest injury risk is J.K. Dobbins, which is surprising. Medium injury risk, Jahmyr Gibbs, Henry, Pollard, and then Bijan Robinson. Look at all the guys with very high risk to high risk loads here. My guy, David Montgomery, all the way down here. They have him at high risk. They have him missing 2 games. I don't know why that is. I don't know why James Cook is a low risk, but he is. I'll pop this. I'm going to pop this link in the description for you guys. If you want to use it, go ahead and play with it. There's a lot of cool stuff on here. Draft Sharks. They put out some good shit. But can I filter here? Who's got the highest injury risk? The lowest is a bunch of backups here, but Tank Bigsby, Kenneth Gainwell. By the way, guys, I wasn't able to get it because he was just too far on my list. But in leagues where you have deep benches, I want Ty Chandler on all of them. Like if you get to your last pick of the draft, take Ty Chandler. I think he's actually he's the 3rd down back from Minnesota. I think he's a better pass catching weapon than Alexander Madison. And if I go to Ty Chandler college profile, let's look at Ty Chandler real quick because he was very productive for a few seasons at North Carolina. So his final senior year, he did run for 1,000 yards. He's been a really good running back throughout his career. But his receiving stats stick out. He caught double-digit balls every single year. He caught 3 touchdowns one year. He actually played with Sam Howell for a couple of these seasons here. So don't sleep on Ty Chandler. Sean Tucker's another one that I like quite a bit. I don't know if we need to draft Sean Tucker, but I would think at some point this season, we're going to see what Sean Tucker's got. So guys that I like at the end of my bench, like Bigsby, Kenneth Gainwell for sure, Ty Chandler for sure. I'm okay with McKinnon. I think Tajay Spears is a really great pick because if Derrick Henry goes down, I think it's going to be the Spears show. I like grabbing Tyler Algier on my bench. I really like James Cook and Latavius Murray. Those are the backs. I don't really care for Damian Harris that much, but I like him, but he's just been injured a little bit the last few seasons. Don't sleep on Kyren Williams. Last year, the Rams were really pumping up Kyren Williams, guys. Like they were going to play him week 1, but then he got hurt in special teams on the first play of the game, and it kind of didn't happen. And he was able to play a little bit at the end of the year, but he just missed out. And this year, there's more Kyren Williams hype. He might be the third down back in LA. I'm kind of not interested in Cam Akers. I keep an eye on Kyren Williams. He's probably going to be a waiver wire guy that we talk about. Other guys that I like here, Samaje Perine, Charbonnet. Again, J.K. Dobbins could be a league-winning back this year. If he ends up with like 30 to 40 receptions this year, dude's a top 10, top 12 running back. They're already hinting at throwing the ball to the running backs a little bit more with this Todd Monken offense. So J.K. Dobbins is it, man. I like Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Kendre Miller's worth a stash because we get 3 weeks with no Alvin Kamara. If it doesn't happen for Kendre in those first 3 weeks and he's not worth holding on to, we can move on. I'm totally fine with that. You guys know me. I love Tony P. A.J. Dillon's a December stash. I think Brian Robinson's a good guy that you want to play in games where they're favored to win. Javonte, medium injury risk. Bijan. Dameon Pierce is my favorite back, dude. If I can go into any draft and I can get Dameon Pierce and David Montgomery, I think that's it. Who's most likely to get injured? Let's go all the way. Looks like Elijah Mitchell, Isaiah Pacheco, Khalil Herbert, Damian Harris. See, that's why I don't like Damian Harris because he gets injured too much, and he's already coming into the season with a knee injury. But that's your most highest injury risk here. This all looks kind of like what you would expect, right? So, yeah, Elijah Mitchell down here with a 94% chance of rain on the forecast. Projected to miss 4.5 games. If I go up here, I just want to see who's projected to miss the most games. So they're hitting me with this. I know OurLads.com. Yep. So OurLads.com also has this, and it's pretty good. Let's go to wide receivers. Highest injury probability is going to be Randall Cobb, Devontae Parker, Deebo Samuel, Nico, interesting. Tyreek up there is pretty high, concerning. Godwin, and then look at how high Higgins and Chase are. That's a little bit concerning for me as I'm going to be collecting Jamar Chase this season. Evans, Allen Robinson, Goodwin, Curtis Samuel, Mike Williams. But I like looking at in terms of games missed. They got Tim Patrick missing 17 games, Landry, Shepard, Odell Beckham up here with 4.4, Allen Robinson, other notables. I don't know why they say Jaden Reed's missing games, but I don't understand that at all. Thornton's already on IR, missing games. Kadarius Toney's pretty high, Nico high, Hopkins high, Michael Thomas. So I did put the link in the description if you guys want to check this out. Let's take a peek at quarterbacks real quick. See who's projected to miss the most games. Kyler Murray, of course. The highest starters: Baker Mayfield, Russ Wilson, Daniel Jones, Jay Fields. So you're running QBs here, DJ and Jay Fields. They got Bryce Young on the list. Aaron Rodgers at 2.4 is weird. Lamar only 2.2 games missed. Jalen Hurts 2 games missed. I want to go down in the bottom. Derek Carr looking like the healthiest guy. Kirk Cousins also, like, these guys are bankable. Josh Allen, pretty bankable. Purdy, Goff, Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence is pretty safe. Looks like Geno and J-Love are both safe, as well as Mahomes. So use the link on the screen, guys, if you want to look at that. Let's go look at tight ends real quick. Projected to miss the most games this year is Ertz, Kittle, Taysom, Logan Thomas, and Trey McBride. Not sure why Trey McBride's on the list, but that's a little concerning. Darren Waller and Dallas Goedert are both pretty high at about 2.5 games missed. Kyle Pitts about 2.5 games missed. Freiermuth missing some games. Let's go all the way down here and look. Jimmy Graham, Juwan Johnson, they're banking on them being healthy. I don't know why. Travis Kelce, only 0.63 games missed, so that's like half a game. Not bad. That's like 3/4. They got Sam Laporta being pretty healthy here. Chigo Okonkwo staying healthy. Cole Kmet staying healthy. My man Jake Ferguson staying very healthy. I don't know why he's got a high risk, though. He's only missing 0.9 games, which is weird. Luke Musgrave they have as a low risk. That's nice to see. But you guys can check this out for yourselves. I'm going to get out of here. Hopefully this was very helpful for you guys. If you do have any more questions, please join our Discord. There's a link in the description. It's free to get in there. That's where I'm going to be answering all the questions. I know I'm on YouTube and Twitter and TikTok and all that good stuff, but I'm going to make Discord my priority for answering waiver wire questions, start sit questions. That's where I'm going to also be posting relevant information, articles, new stuff like that. So check it out. And I don't know, guys, good luck. Like we finally did, like we're here, man. We're all next Thursday night. We got the game. We got the Chiefs and the Lions. We're all excited about it. I have 2 drafts this weekend, and then I'm done. So thank you guys. It has been a hell of an off season. We still got to get to 1,000 subscribers, guys. So we're not quite there yet. We're almost there. We're almost approaching 950. So I think we're going to come short of our goal, but we made a good run at it. So have a great weekend, guys. I thank you so much and appreciate your time. Peace.